Dave Birkett here. Happy merry day after Christmas. Carlos Monarrez, come on in and join me here as we get ready for the Lions season finale. And it's December 26th today. Special Thursday edition of the videocast, podcast, whatever we want to call this. And Merry Christmas. How was the holiday? You and the family get to spend some quality time together?
We did, but more importantly, Dave, the amazing Detroit Lions public relations interns got me Cal State Fullerton hoodie. It says Titans, right?
This says Titans, right? Yep.
Titans. So
Right back here it says worst college
Oh.
baseball team. You did not see that part?
No, Cal State Fullerton is the Harvard of Orange County. Actually, it's the Harvard of North Orange County because UC Irvine's probably a better school than South Orange County. So
Okay.
Northern Orange County, Harvard. So
That's what it is.
don't forget that, okay?
right.
It's no Michigan because not everybody can get into Michigan State, Dave. Okay.
No, I mean on the banks of the Red Cedar, that's where a whole lot of intellect goes down there. It's a big party school. Come on, who are we kidding?
All right. So we're wearing our hats because it's a belated.
He made me.
I made him because it was a belated Christmas show because we kind of, fly by the seat of his pants. Dave didn't really plan things properly on Monday, so we forgot the hats.
I was traveling.
Actually, they didn't have access on Monday or Tuesday,
Right.
which was when we were going to shoot the Christmas podcast. So now we're shooting it. And I have a belated Christmas present
For me? Oh man! Wow, this is. Whoa, let's see what this is. I'm
Gotta
gonna
open
hand
this.
you
Let
this
me
real
hold
quick. He brought me lunch today. He paid off a bet.
I paid off a bet.
And,
Yes,
no,
yes.
Present. And God, I feel bad. I mean, let's see. Let's see what we got here. A Rolex,
Ooh.
just like Lamar Jackson.
Open the little one first.
Okay.
I think you'll like that one first.
Let's see what we got here. So, anyways, I hope everyone out there had a Merry Christmas too. Spend
was
some
yours?
time with the kids. It was great. It's always good to see the kids get excited when they open presents under the Christmas tree. And oh no, what is this? All right, little story here. So the little plug thingy, I don't even know.
The thingy.
Lightning to headphone jack adapter. Apple. So it's been. I don't know. It's probably been
3 years, probably.
Yeah,
2-3
I
years.
lost mine, right? One comes with the phone when you get it, right? I lost mine. I don't have a clue when, but for a long time ago. And so for the entire season, I'm like, hey, can I borrow your little headphone thingy? Here, can I borrow that
The little thingy.
Yeah,
You always
little
ask
thingy.
me, can I
know
borrow your
what
little
it's
thingy?
And
And I don't like the implications of that, but I still let him borrow it.
so in order to hear audio when I record on my phone instead of on my recorder, I need the little thingy to listen to it. And I've lost the thingy. So, yeah.
So now you have your own little thingy. You're not going to bother me for my thingy, right?
That's right.
Okay.
But, yeah, let's see what this one is.
Now this one.
Hey, let's see what this sucker. Oh man, this is fantastic. All right, so
This is another one of the things that I actually shouldn't encourage them, but
all right, so you guys out there may know as well that I coached a little bit of basketball, right? Yeah, it's a girls' basketball team, fifth
heard
grade.
that.
Our Lady Victory Northville. We're 5-1 right now, maybe 6-1. I forget. Pretty good team.
championship game on
So look
Monday.
at this, a gold Coach Dave whistle. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, Carlos, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So yeah, my team. We actually have a game Saturday, so come out and support the troops. We will be out there. Christmas tournament, semifinal game. We didn't play. The quarterfinals are today, but somehow my team got a bye. So
Wow.
yeah,
wow.
it's, I
So
appreciate
the
that.
check
Thank
cleared
you.
for the refs. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. There's one ref out there that doesn't really like me much right now, but that's a story for another time. So, but no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's
Merry
pretty
Christmas.
cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Merry Christmas. I got you a microphone to hold. So
Oh wow.
It's-
I've always wanted.
I got you a hat. Here, take this.
You have to
No.
wear the hat now. The whole. He didn't want to wear it. He was being a Grinch.
See, you said you were bringing a Christmas present, but I thought you were just talking about the food. He had to pay off a bet. See, you guys may know here, right? I'll grab this for him. So you guys may know, right? We, sometimes we
get
spice
bored.
things up a little
We
bit.
get
Yeah.
bored.
So we'll make bold proclamations, and those turn into bets. And one of them happened to be, I don't know what this one was for. It's Matthew Stafford interceptions, right? And so I took the under. We set the line at 10 or 10.5, I guess, because I had 10 and under.
10.5.
And I made this wager with Carlos and another member of the media corps here, and I said under. And look, Matthew Stafford was on pace to have less than 10 interceptions at the time he got hurt. Fortunately, there were no riders on this bet, so when he went down and was injured for the second half of the season and his interception total stayed at 5, well, then Daddy got some food. So Daddy got one lunch paid off from Carlos. The other member of the media corps, who shall remain nameless, Reich Mostein, he still owes me he owes one, and he might owe a second one coming up. Right?
It's getting in deep.
Yeah.
Do we have any other ones coming up?
Another, you guys may remember this wager from early in the season on who is going to lead the team in receptions.
Yeah.
And this one is going to go down to the wire. This guy here, this happened in the spring, as a matter of fact. So give Carlos credit for seeing this. We were watching OTAs, minicamp, I don't know what it was, and Danny Amendola was catching everything in sight, and Matthew Stafford was, I think Stafford was probably out there. Whoever it was,
Stafford
was throwing them passes left and right, and Carlos was like, Amendola's going to lead the team in catches, and Mike and I were like, get out of here, come on, I got Kenny's going to lead him, Marv, whatever. Carlos, bold enough to say you can have the field. I'm going to take Amendola. And now here we go, heading into the season finale. And I think Kenny Galladay's 2 catches ahead of Amendola heading into the season finale. Marvin Jones obviously had to lead, got hurt, missed the last couple weeks. But this one's going down to the wire.
I would be in trouble if Marv was still healthy, although Amendola was closing the gap. I also think that Galladay's had a couple of, holding penalties or something when Amendola's made catches that have been negated. I think we need to go back and rectify the statistics. Just like in Ndamukong Suh, statistics matter to me, Dave. Yeah. And I don't think it's fair that Galladay is taking away catches from my guy.
Well, I think you paid off the officials last week. Galladay had that 4th down catch that was they ruled incomplete on the field, and then they didn't overturn that they should have. Definitely a catch for Kenny. But I will say this, in my defense, even though I had the field, I wrote Kenny Galladay was going to lead this team in receptions. So I put it out there that was who my guy was. And fortunately, it's coming down to those two, and we'll see. I guess we'll find out Sunday.
Yeah, what a bold assertion. The 1,000-yard receiver is going to lead. Wow, that was a real walkout on the plank there, David.
Well, I mean, you kind of figured check down Charlie was going to, feed Amendola all day. And look, obviously it's played out a little bit different than we thought. But
is Amendola coming back? You wrote something about the free agents who may return or may not.
Yeah, all right. So let's get into that real quick because it was a wonderful story by me. But no, it's I think the Lions have 17 or 18 free agents after the season, and I would say the biggest one is Danny Amendola. Obviously, he's been a nice find for this team. I mean, he's obviously been one of Matthew Stafford's favorite targets. Really solidified that number 3 spot. Coming off the season he had last year, kind of older, I just didn't know what to expect out of him, and he surprised me in a good way. Graham Glasgow, I think he would be the biggest free agent probably that this team has on the offensive line. Ashawn Robinson on the defensive line, Rashawn Melvin, I guess, back at cornerback, though, he's sort of been in and out of the lineup here the last month. So I think those are probably the top free agents. Maybe there's somebody I'm forgetting. But, just guessing here, we don't know. I mean, this will play out over the next couple of weeks, but I would think Amendola has a role on this team going forward. I mean, he's a Matt Patricia type guy. He had a very productive season. It's not like there's somebody waiting in the wings. Neither Chris Lacey or Travis Fulgham has done, much of anything. So I think Amendola is probably coming back. Much less certain about Glasgow. I think if I had to guess, he's probably done. I just don't know that the Lions want to spend on an interior lineman. When they have an offensive tackle they're going to have to take care of, and Taylor Decker coming up soon. They'll eventually have to spend on Frank Ragnow on the interior of their offensive line. So I don't. If I had to guess now, I'd say Glasgow's probably playing his last game, and Ashawn Robinson may have played his last game already because he's been hurt the last couple weeks and probably not going to play on Sunday.
Is Wagner still under contract for another year?
Yeah, Rick Wagner has, I believe it's 2 more years left on his deal, and just a matter of whether the Lions want to make a salary cap move with him.
Yeah. It would be a shame, to lose Graham. It's one of those things where I think we talked about it last week. Just it'd be nice to have the guys. Was he a third round pick? Guys that you draft, who do well. He's become a starter, dependable player. To keep them in the fold. Second contract guys. Lions have lost too many of those kind of guys. The Larry Warfords of the world. It'd be nice to keep them, but money.
Well, exactly. We'll see what the market there dictates, because I think. Again, it's not about Glasgow's play, even though if I'm Graham, I'm kind of looking at this organization like, why are you subbing me in and out, all year? It didn't quite make a whole lot of sense. But sure. I think it's mostly about the money that they have to commit to that position, other holes that they may have to fill where they need to allocate their money. What do you say on Amendola? You think he's got a 2020 season in him here in Detroit?
I think so. I think that, he's as a slot receiver, it's a kind of position where you they'll draft some receiver right in the 5th round, some smaller guy, whatever, and develop them. And you don't expect a guy. I mean, that's a tough position to play well right out of the gate. So keep him around. I don't know what his contract is right now. How much is he making? $6 million?
Yeah, 5,
6.
$5 million.
I doubt someone's
including
gonna
all the incentives. Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, I doubt anybody's gonna pay him more than that.
Right.
You know, he'll fit here well. Like you said, the Patricia guy. You know, he's not gonna have. He doesn't have that much more time in the league. So I think it'd be better for him to stay. But who knows? Maybe someone dangles another $500,000, or they take away the incentives and just guarantee more money, whatever, and he leaves. But I think if he wants to stay, I think he could stay.
Agree with that. The other free agent, I guess, that I forgot to mention, Sam Martin is probably the next biggest free agent. Lions punter. He reworked his deal before the season, took a little bit less money, got rid of the final year on his deal, so he'll be a free agent. Another guy that I'm not sure the Lions are going to want to spend that. I think Sam might end up wanting to look around himself and see what else is out there, and maybe that's a spot that all of a sudden John Bonamago's out there looking for a punter again, like he did 6 or 7 years ago when he went out and found Sam at Appalachian State.
So you're guaranteeing that John Bonamago is back then?
Well, I think
careful, because there's a lot of hate for special teams out there.
No, I think Bono should be back. Will be back. Look, you don't want to change special teams coordinators 2 straight years. I don't know what that says about you as a head coach if that's what you're doing.
You can't be afraid to make changes, Dave. I've heard that before somewhere.
You can't. You're right. That's a good point. Wise man once said that. But no, look, I think the special teams has probably not gotten enough respect. If you look at the special teams rankings on Football Outsiders, the Lions do. They're in the top. They've been in the top 10 most of the year. I don't know what they sit at today. Probably still somewhere up there. Agnew's, returned a couple punts. So yeah, and you're going to have so many changes on the defensive staff. We don't expect Paul Pasqualoni back. A couple of those position coaches may be gone as well, or don't expect Pasqualoni back in the coordinator role at least. So I think it's sort of like you brought up Wagner. It's sort of like there where you have to be leery of leaving yourselves too many holes that you have to go out and fill, right? Like I don't know if you want to cut Rick Wagner because then you need to go spend big on a right tackle, or you need to. I don't know if Tyrell Crosby is ready, but you need to add another right tackle regardless of the case is. So, and same thing goes for special teams. Not that you can't find a coach out there, but in a season where there's
coordinator that it's kind of easy to find, not easy, but not as hard as the market isn't as strong for special teams coordinators as it is for DCs and OCs, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's more of those people to pick from because there are more defensive assistants, right? There's more guys that have coached at some sort of high level on that. Because special teams, you have one coach and maybe an assistant in the NFL, right? Defense, think about it, you have 5 position coaches and a coordinator. So there's just a lot more. The volume obviously is there, but I don't know. For the Lions' sake, or from their standpoint at least, I just think you're going to have a lot of. You're going to have a lot of change next year anyways. It's such a big year. Barring, the old New England Patriots special teams coordinator coming loose and you having some relationship with that guy that you want to bring in. I just don't. Skarnecki is the offensive line coach. But, I just don't know that it makes a whole lot of sense for you to, for the Lions, that is, to make a change there for the second straight season.
Yeah, I could see that. You don't want too much upheaval, but although people want to see change, people want to see things getting shaken up, and out of the gate, obviously, you have to wait until whatever, free agency opens and all that, and you see players move around. But coaches, you can fire coaches right away, and it'll appease a lot of fans, I think.
Well, I think fans would, there's certainly coaches that they would like to see go. So we'll see if the sacrificial lamb, how much, that quiets the masses, because certainly there's going to be changes on the defensive staff next week. You can probably just look, if Matt Patricia talks to us Monday and Bob Quinn talks Tuesday, then it's probably happening Wednesday or something like that. It's just my guess. But whatever, at some point they will make some defensive staff adjustments. And then hopefully by the time we get down to Senior Bowl, Carlos, they will have a defensive coordinator in place, so that way we can pester that guy a little bit and try to figure out what he's going to do to make this Matt Patricia defense different, because it's still Matt Patricia's defense at the end of the day. So that's why I'm a little leery of how much impact a coordinator change can have on the defensive side of the ball.
You're just itching to get to Mobile, aren't you? It's the trip you look forward to every year.
Yeah. Really looking forward to that one. There's a practice. I have a practice I'm going to have to miss that Tuesday of Senior Bowl week. So
you already
I'm bummed
know
about
that?
Well, we practice every Tuesday. So
every Tuesday, okay.
Yeah. So I'll be down there probably Monday.
Give me the whistle, I'll
Come
do
back
it.
Thursday. Yeah, you take it. Go run my team.
Yeah.
Big game Saturday. Girls basketball, St. Patrick of White Lake tournament. Come out and support the troops. Like I said, early morning game. We'll be there. All right, so let's talk about the other big game of the weekend, the second biggest game of the weekend, Lions-Packers. And look, I think, as we've said before, there's not a ton of interest in this game.
Oh, there's a lot of interest in this
from
game.
the Packers standpoint, they can.
From the whole NFL.
Yeah.
Saints fans,
The
Packers
NFC.
fans, Dallas fans, you name it.
You see the one St. New Orleans area car dealer who offered David Blau a free truck if he can beat the Packers?
Yeah, I did see that. It was nice. Chevy Silverado or a Ford F-150. So what I don't understand is it outright here's the car or is it like a free 2-year lease kind of thing?
Yeah. I don't know.
I want to know the details about that, Dave.
I don't even know if he could reasonably accept that, if that would be some sort of violation of NFL rules. But
tampering,
all right,
betting.
so I take that back. There's a ton of interest in this game, including by us here. And no. Let's get into predictions because there's not much to talk about. Everybody's looking forward to next year. Next week? Even what happens next week? I don't know. What do you? Is there something that you'd like to see in this game out of the Lions, young core, coaching staff, whatever it may be that would give you hope for 2020? If so, what is that? And then give me your prediction on top of that.
I don't know if I'm going to see anything. The only thing, that I'd be interested in seeing is Kyle Sloter, the backup quarterback, and we talked about this a little bit off camera. Was start Blau, go ahead, and Bevel kind of said as much. You can, there's no real big reason to start, Kyle Sloter. But I think the dude's had such an interesting story of getting to the NFL and changing positions in college and transferring, and everybody tells him he sucks, and he has these clippings on his mirror. I mean, I just love that. I love that. Like I'm going to show you guys. Yeah. So if the game's kind of getting out of hand in the second half, treat it kind of like a preseason game. Let him go in. Let him play a quarter, a little more than a quarter. See what he can do. He says he's mobile. He says he's comfortable making plays outside of the pocket and inside the pocket. He likes to read the defenses. This is his third year in the NFL. He's bounced around a little bit. I like to see him get a shot. And I don't care what they say. I don't care what coaches say. Oh, we evaluate them, whatever. There's nothing like live game reps. You want to see it. And not to reference another quarterback by name, but you wouldn't put a guy out there to embarrass him if he's not ready. And I don't think he wouldn't be embarrassed. I think he's ready. Third year.
Didn't Jim Coletto? Were we talking about that?
Jim Coletto might have been the coach who said it about someone once upon a time. But so I'd like to see that.
That really sent us all into a tizzy that day when he said that. That was crazy.
It was funny. But that's really it. Anything else? I expect the Lions to. It's going to be tough sledding. The Packers have a ton to play for. They want to keep that number 2 seed, home field advantage. Up until they play the 49ers. So I think they're going to choke in the first game probably against whoever they play because Jimmy G. Let's face it. But that's it. Sloter, what do you think? Do you think
Sloter would be a good one to see just because, I think ultimately this offseason the Lions are going to have to find themselves a reliable veteran backup quarterback. I don't see them drafting one high, a rookie that is. So I think they're going to need a reliable vet, but I think they still could keep 3, right? They could keep a young guy, and maybe it's Blau against Sloter all offseason into training camp battling for that number 3 job. So, David Blau obviously has started a couple games here. First game, he looked okay. Since then, the production has sort of petered off offensively. I wrote after the game the other day, maybe it's time to give Sloter an opportunity. And like you said, the Lions are still trying to win this game. And, Blau gives him the best chance probably because he's been around. But, there's some I'd be interested to see. I mean, Sloter, he put up crazy preseason numbers if you look him up. And not that preseason means, a ton, but just be.
When he could, when he had to.
Yeah, and just to see him out there. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd also like to see Amani Oraye. Let me slow that down. That's how they told me to say it. They said, slow it down. Oraye.
It's not that hard of a name. Why does everybody...
I don't know, man. I can't.
Oraye.
The consonants trip me up. Anyways.
Oraye.
I would like to see him play a little bit more. We saw early on, Carlos, or when Rashawn Melvin got hurt. He played a couple weeks there, and I thought he played pretty well. And Melvin has been back in the lineup the last 2 weeks. And, I know they talk about packages and whatnot, but for my money, put the rookie in. We know what Rashawn Melvin can and can't do. I'd like to see him get a little more run.
I would say that to me is a little bit different because you're going against Aaron Rodgers.
They're a running team now.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be like a bloodhound on the scent. If he sees a rookie DB out there, he's going to be itching to expose them. It's going to be like a red target on them.
As if he's not going to be itching to expose Rashawn Melvin anyway. So let me throw it to Darius Slay, or do I go pick on Rashawn Melvin?
I'd go after the rookie, whoever I could find out there who's a rookie,
Or Rashawn Melvin if the rookie's not out there. It's the same thing. They're going to be throwing the same guy either way.
I don't know. Sure, maybe there's some sense in seeing if a rookie's ready and if he gets time and he knows he's going to start and all that, more reps of the first team practice. But Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't want to face him.
It's certainly, I think Amani's played. He played fairly well, so it's good to get a little taste.
Yeah.
Maybe you end the season on a confident note because he's played well. But if I'm the Lions too, given some of the uncertainty this offseason, just a little more seasoning would make me feel a little bit better about him heading to next year.
Just think about, like Devontae Adams lining up against Dewarier and Aaron Rodgers. Nothing good can come from that.
Just keep Slay on him. Slay will shadow him.
Well,
he's going to guard Alan Lazard. Yeah, he's going to play pretty well for them.
Yeah, Slade travels most of the time, but I think on Monday night they moved Adams around quite a bit, to try to get him away from. I don't know who I think it was.
All right, prediction time, Carlos. Last game of the season. I think you're, 4-10-1 right now in your predictions. I am 14-0-1. I think. Making those numbers up. So give me a prediction here. Last game at Ford Field. Do the Lions stand any chance? And what do you see ultimately shaking out?
Well, they gave us a scare last week, right? Because they were leading.
10-0.
And people were not happy. So the Lions will do the right thing and lose this game handily, which they should, to have a chance. They're third in Tankathon, so they can move up to second, as high as second, right?
If Washington beats the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, which is not going to happen in Dallas. I think they lose. I think the Packers have a lot to play for. I think the Packers are it's going to be 30-17.
I can't argue with you. Score, the margin of victory or, result, because the Lions are just a little too undermanned right now against a good Packers team. Look, Green Bay doesn't maybe score like it used to because they don't throw the ball quite as much. This is, like I said, they've sort of become a running team here, but they still got a ton to play for. They're still playing for potentially the number one seed in the NFC. Don't think that's going to happen, but, they need to win to get a first-round bye, some home games in the playoffs. I just don't know that the Lions have enough on either side of the ball, A, to keep up, or B, to stop them. I've got it 28-13. So similar margin of victory. I just don't know that. And I don't know that Lions are going to do much at the end of the day. And Dallas beats Washington, I guess, most importantly, to keep the Lions at the number 3 seed in the playoffs. Dallas-Washington?
Dallas is as much as they're going to try to choke it away, and Jason Garrett will get lucky and save his job yet another year.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, though.
No Dwayne Haskins, so Case Keenum gets a start. I wrote this the other day. Future Lions backup, Case Keenum. Watch that name in the offseason.
Case Keenum, okay. So the question is, does it help the Packers or hurt the Packers? They played Monday night at Minnesota, and then on a short week they got to come to Detroit. It's the kind of thing where they're mad and we're going to show those stupid NFL schedulers for screwing us, and we're going to.
I don't think so. But I do think obviously it's a different week for them. Very little practice. You play Monday, you're not practicing Tuesday. You don't practice Wednesday because of Christmas, so you're going to have 2 practices this week. But maybe that's a good thing too. End of the season, right? Your bodies are a little beat up, and like you said, you're playing for a bye, so you ultimately get 1 more week off next week if you can come out and win and take care of business. And I don't see any reason to think they can't.
I like to see a fun play. Like I like to see them have some fun, with Bevel or whoever it is, the offense, and just throw in some fun gadget plays. Maybe another Taylor Decker to David Blau, whatever, some fun, pass like that. Or
last game of the season, we saw it last year when there was nothing on the line, and the Lions sort of emptied the playbook. Won at Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers got knocked out with the concussion. We'll see if they do it again. But this will be it. This will do it for us, Carlos. I guess our next video, it'll be next Monday. So. Before the new year. I was going to wish everybody a Happy New Year, but that's we still have time for that. So that'll be next week. We'll say Happy New Year. And thanks to you, my friend, for my gifts here. I won't have to ask you for your thinking anymore. And now I have another whistle to blow and yell at the girls in practice with. So Merry Christmas to you and the fam, and Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Enjoy the game on Sunday. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett, Freep.com.